Imagine waking up on the first of the month. Before your feet even touch the floor, your phone lights up with silent notifications. The mortgage is deducted. The car loan leaves. The subscriptions renew. Modern money moves out of our lives silently, often before we even enjoy it. When we look for a way out, the financial world tells us we need an impossible number. 2 million, 5 million. A mountain of wealth so high we just sigh and go back to a job we are too exhausted to leave. But there is an uncomfortable truth about financial freedom. You probably do not need a multi-million-dollar mountain. You just need a quiet, steady stream. While modern spending culture glorifies massive net worths, Japanese quiet wealth focuses on enoughness. What if buying back your life costs exactly $2,900 a month? In this video, we explore how to build a quiet money tree using 8 dividend habits. We are working harder than ever, yet we are constantly running on a financial treadmill. The financial industry paralyzes us with massive target numbers, creating a quiet sense of hopelessness. We think, if I can never save $2 million, why even try? So we accept daily financial anxiety as normal. But quiet wealth is not about having the biggest net worth to show off. It is about having enough. When we look at money through the lens of Japanese financial habits, we find a profound appreciation for intentionality. Instead of chasing a multi-million-dollar mountain, what if you focused on building a steady monthly stream of $2,900 or about $35,000 a year? For many, that exact number covers the absolute baseline: housing, groceries, and basic bills. Once that baseline is covered by passive dividend income, you no longer work for survival. You work by choice. To reach $2,900 a month, we must look at the quiet mechanics of a dividend. When you buy a stock, you become a part owner. When the company profits, they distribute a portion directly to owners. That cash payment is a dividend. Behavioral finance tells us human beings are wired for immediate gratification, which is why so many abandon long-term investing when it gets boring. Dividends bridge this psychological gap by providing tangible rewards for your patience. You hold the share, and the company deposits cash into your account. It is the deliberate accumulation of income-producing assets. It aligns perfectly with quiet wealth, building a system that works silently, giving your money direction rather than letting it evaporate. This journey begins with understanding the gap between what you spend and what you actually need. Society tells us we need a massive income to feel secure. The average person spends $67,000 a year, accepting this as a default benchmark. The modern money problem is spending by default rather than by design. The visible cost is a drained account. The hidden cost is selling your unlived future time to finance present conveniences. The psychological trap is comparison, subconsciously matching the spending of those around us. To fix this, we use Kakeibo, the mindful financial ledger. Kakeibo brings intense clarity to your baseline. When you strip away the performance of wealth, your actual enough might be exactly $35,000 a year or $2,900 a month. Once you know this, the math of freedom changes. Quiet wealth begins the moment you stop estimating what you need to impress others and calculate exactly what you need to free yourself. Once you find your baseline, the impulse is to reach it overnight. Modern culture glorifies the active trader chasing quick riches. The visible costs are endless trading fees and short-term losses. The real hidden cost is the gradual destruction of your principal investment. By constantly moving money, you kill the assets supposed to generate your freedom. The psychological trap is the illusion of action, believing we fall behind if we aren't constantly touching our portfolio. The antidote is Gaman, the Japanese concept of endurance and patience. In dividend investing, Gaman means doing nothing. You build your portfolio, calculate your dividend yield, and leave the principal alone. You protect the golden goose and live only on its eggs. Quiet wealth is realized when you understand money only serves you, when you stop picking young leaves and wait for the fruit to ripen. As you build this patience, you might face the reality that traditional dividend stocks pay a yield of maybe 2%. The modern money problem is that to get $35,000 a year at a 2% yield, you need nearly $2 million invested. The visible cost is people giving up before starting. The hidden cost is leaving cash in the bank to lose its purchasing power to inflation. The psychological trap is believing passive income is reserved for the wealthy. We approach this using Kaizen, continuous systemic improvement. If we cannot change our portfolio size, we optimize the yield using covered call ETFs. These specialized funds write call options against their stocks, generating premium income and pushing yields into the double digits. This drops the capital needed to around $300,000. Quiet wealth does not always require a massive financial miracle. Sometimes it just requires a slightly smarter system. This smarter approach also changes how we view passive real estate. When we think of passive income, we imagine buying rental properties. The modern money problem is that physical real estate usually requires taking on massive debt. The visible cost is suffocating mortgage interest. The hidden cost is the profound anxiety of broken boilers and vacant months. The psychological trap is societal pressure, believing you are not a real investor unless your name is on a physical deed. We reframe this using mode and I, respecting resources and avoiding waste. Instead of wasting mental peace on one house, pool your resources. Real estate investment trusts, or REITs, allow you to buy shares in massive property portfolios. Management handles the stress, and you collect monthly dividends. Quiet wealth teaches us that having your name on a building is often an ego metric. True freedom is found in the steady cash flow you receive. Building this foundation protects you from the modern financial world, which is incredibly loud, tempting us to chase trending cryptocurrencies or hyped tech stocks. The visible cost of this chase is exhaustion from portfolios that swing wildly every day. The hidden cost is slowly eroding your mental bandwidth, mistaking chronic stress for financial productivity. The psychological trap is confusing investing with entertainment, believing that if money isn't exciting, it isn't growing. To counter this, we embrace wabi-sabi, the appreciation for things that are simple and deeply ordinary. This means looking at Dividend Aristocrats. These are established S&P 500 companies that have consistently increased dividends for 25 consecutive years. They aren't flashy and their yields are lower, but they are profoundly resilient. Quiet wealth teaches a vital lesson. A truly effective financial system is usually quite boring. If your investment portfolio gives you an adrenaline rush, you are probably gambling. When passive income starts rolling in, a new temptation arises. The modern money problem is the desire to go all in on whichever single asset is performing best. The visible cost of putting all your money in one basket is obvious. If that company cuts its dividend, your income vanishes. The hidden cost is the underlying anxiety that haunts your daily life because your foundation rests on a single point of failure. The psychological trap is overconfidence in a sure thing. The fix is rooted in nemawashi, a Japanese gardening term for carefully preparing the roots of a tree so it can survive shocks. In finance, nemawashi is intentional diversification. To safely generate $2,900 a month, spread your capital across ETFs, REITs, and aristocrats. Quiet wealth is about preparing your foundation so deeply that you do not need to predict the future to be okay. As that secure foundation grows and passive income arrives, lifestyle inflation naturally emerges. The modern money problem is instinctively upgrading our lives the moment we have extra cash. The visible cost is buying a luxury car the second your dividends hit. The hidden cost is trapping yourself back in the very rat race you tried to escape. The psychological trap is feeling you must constantly reward yourself by expanding your standard of living. The fix is hara hachibu, the practice of eating until you are only 80% full. Applied to finances, it means recognizing your point of enoughness. If $2,900 a month buys absolute freedom, do not force your portfolio to produce $10,000 just to impress people. Quiet wealth is the profound power to say no to things you do not need, fiercely protecting the freedom you work so hard to build. But once you overcome lifestyle inflation and reach your enoughness point, the ultimate modern money problem reveals itself: our deep misunderstanding of financial independence. We are taught that retirement means doing absolutely nothing. The visible cost of this mindset is extreme boredom. The hidden, real cost is a profound loss of purpose once the financial chase is over. The psychological trap is confusing the desire to escape a toxic job with a desire to stop contributing to the world entirely. This is where your ikigai, Your reason for waking up becomes essential. You do not build a $2,900 monthly stream just to sit on a couch. You build it to protect your ikigai. When baseline bills are covered, you can choose work that matters, independent of what it pays. Quiet wealth reveals the deepest truth. Money was never the final destination. It was the bridge allowing you to walk back to your true self. Let us pause for a moment. It is easy to feel a sudden rush of motivation to pour every dollar into high-yield ETFs tomorrow morning. But all investments carry risk. Markets go through downturns and companies can cut dividends. This is not a magic formula to quit your job next month. Rather, these habits are a different lens through which to view your future. They prove that buying back your time does not require a $5 million mountain. It simply requires a clear baseline, a smart system, and 5 to 7 years of steady patience. So, what is your next step? First, apply Kakeibo to your last 30 days of spending to calculate your true baseline of enoughness. Next, identify just one recurring money leak that no longer adds value, a forgotten subscription or an autopilot habit, and close it. Then practice Kaizen. Take that exact amount you just saved, open a brokerage account, and buy your first dividend-paying asset, even if it is just a fractional share. Finally, turn on the Dividend Reinvestment Plan, or DRIP. This automatically takes your cash dividends and buys more shares, building your passive income snowball. You do not need $1 million to begin. You just need to start planting the seeds. We started by imagining a morning where money quietly arrives rather than silently disappearing. Reaching that reality requires the clarity of Kakeibo to find your baseline, the wisdom of Kaizen to build a smarter system, and the patience of Gaman to let your investments grow. Japanese money habits are not a magical secret. They are a shift in how we view enoughness. Quiet wealth is never about proving your success by buying things you don't need. It is about buying back your peace and absolute freedom. If this video helped you see your money differently, subscribe for more quiet wealth videos. Disclaimer, spoken naturally at the end. This video is for educational purposes only and is not personal financial advice. Financial rules and investment products vary by country. Always consider your own situation and speak with a qualified professional when needed.